morning. Hello, how are you doing? Sorry, I'm a couple of minutes late. My camera didn't want to go the right way round, and that's not going to be good. So I've been having a little bit of a fiddle with that. I hope you're all really well today. It is quite dull and miserable again weather-wise, but absolutely not dull and miserable mood-wise here today. I'm so excited to be with you. If I had the pleasure of meeting any of you over the weekend, we did go to the Beads Up North fair at Haydock Racecourse. It was a very lovely day, and I got to meet some very, very, very lovely people. And I also found there was quite a lot of people there who said, I'm completely new to jewellery making, or I've only just started, or I'm interested in maybe getting started. So today's live and today's tutorial is a really good beginner to make with you. We've got lots of lovely bundles on. If you would like to make along, you can choose your colour and you can get your kit and you can use exactly the same materials as I'm using here. Or if you prefer, you can get all the selection. So we've got 3 different colours in gold and 3 in silver. So you could get all of them if you wish, but I'll take you onto the website very soon. I'm just going to say a quick hello to everybody and check you're all present and correct. So good morning to Jan, she's in a fair Sudbury. Good morning to Linda. She says good morning fellow beaders. Dull but dry Watford is the weather. Good morning to Jan, good morning to Tracy, good morning to Pauline, hello to Rachel, she's in a cloudy Barrow but it's brightening. Do you know, it did feel quite spring-like this morning, even though it's raining now and it's grey and like drizzly. The birds were singing and it just felt a little bit warmer. So I'm hoping it's going to be a lovely spring week weather-wise. Good morning to Amelia. How are you doing? Hello to Teresa. Good morning to Pauline, who says it's cold and a dull day here. Carol says we're not coming up on Facebook again. It's showing on mine that it's set to, but there has been some changes. So I don't know what's happening. I don't know how to fix it. I'm scratching my head. I'm asking the powers above as well as the bosses to try and look into it for us. I'm so sorry to those of you who are expecting me to be on Facebook. I will share it afterwards. You can catch us, of course, on Facebook groups when it's shared in there. It's all on the website after we finish the tutorial if you want to go back and have a little look. And of course we're on YouTube as well. We're on Totally Beads YouTube, and we're also on Natalie Patton Jewellery. So there are lots of ways to get to see it, but it's not good enough. Good morning to Lisa. Good morning to RDS, who's in California, USA. Hello to you. Good evening, if it's evening time there. Good morning to Elizabeth, who's also been struggling to get us on Facebook. Good morning to Tina. Hello to Camille. Thank you very much. She's wishing me a happy anniversary for yesterday. Thank you very, very much. Pauline says, doing it on YouTube too. Doing what? Are we on? We should be. I've got a few watching, not as many as usual. Good morning to Judith. A damp and cold West Lothian, nothing unusual, she says. Well, it's going to be one of those, isn't it? It's going to be one of those days. I'm going to take you over to the website now, and then I'll take you down on the mat, and I'm going to make some lovely earrings for you today. They are danglies, they are shimmery, lots of lovely colours, and I'm using a lovely kind of dusted spacer bead as well, so extra sparkle, extra texture. So if you are new to us, welcome. I am Natalie Patton. This is Totally Beads, and you can find us on our website on totallybeads.co.uk, and that will take you over here. So you can see all of our lovely different things that we've got available for you. You can click on the video tutorials here. There's another one which says video tutorials, and it's got our faces on it as well, so you can see who we are. And today I'm going to do the Pamela earrings. Now, if you are new, just to reiterate, the things here at the top are all the things we've done in like the last month or so, lots of different types of project. But you can also search by bead. So you might think, I know I've got anything at all, a particular seed bead, and I want to use my size 11 Toho seed beads. You can click in that way. You can see the tutorials by date. So you might think, I want to see what we were doing around Christmas last year or a year ago or two. You can have a little look that way. You can see by kind and you can see by technique. So by kind would be, I know I want to make a necklace or a bracelet or a pendant or some home decor, and you can search makes that way. Or you can do by technique. So you might think, I want to do wire work, I want to do chainmail, I want to do some nice easy bead stringing. There's lots of different ways you can see our tutorials that way as well. And of course, there's also, you can have a little look at some of our makes. They are a little bit all over the place in times. These are at the bottom and I don't know why. They were mine too. But if you scroll back up, you'll see our recent makes are here. And I'm doing the Pamela earrings with you today. So they are lovely little glass pearls. And these are your colourways in your kits. So we've got a gorgeous antique gold on the gold. We've got a black, which is on the silver. We've got a cornflower blue, which is on the gold. Possibly my favourites. I'm loving the kind of light purple ones as well. So I might try and demo a gold and a silver colourway for you today so you can see them. But they all work exactly the same. And we've also got the light sea foam, and we've got a pewter, which is kind of like a sparkly grey. Yeah. If you want to get them all, you can get those bundles there for you as well. So each of your individual separate kit makes 2 pairs of earrings. So for example, if I head into the cornflower blue, they are £6.99, and that is for 2 pairs of earrings. And you can see all of the bits and bobs that I'm using in terms of materials to make these earrings up. So I'm going to make kind of like a chandelier type frame, and that's just using an eye pin and some chain. So you're going to get all of your eye pins, your ball pins. So your ball pins are, it's referred to as head pin ball there. So they're the ones with the little kind of lovely little ball tip finish at the bottom. You're going to have your eye pins, which are going to make a double kind of connecting loop. You're getting your chain, you're getting your glass pearls, which are 4mm in size, and you're getting the Stardust beads as well, and of course your ear wires. So everything you need to make 2 pairs of earrings will be in your kit. If you want to have a look exactly what the materials are individually, you can scroll down a little bit further. You can see I'm using the cornflower blue in this kit. They are 4mm. I'm using 50mm ball pins and also the eye pin, and I'm using the Stardust beads, which are 4mm as well. The Stardust beads are beautiful. It's like they've been dipped in shimmer. They're really, really gorgeous, and they just add that extra little bit of texture into your lovely earrings. So for £6.99, you can choose any colour you wish that we've got available here, and you're going to make up 2 pairs of earrings. But if you know, maybe you want to gift these, maybe you've got a selection of outfits you think they'd look lovely with, or you sell your makes, which you can absolutely do. You can make using these designs and you can sell, and I wish you lots of luck with that if that's what you do. Then you might think, I know I need to have more gold earrings in my collection, or I need more silver coloured collection to go with my stuff. So you might want to get all 3. They are £14.99, and you're making 6 pairs of earrings. So you'll get 2 of each, enough to make 2 of each colour. So obviously you've got all of those lovely colours that we've got there. So that's going to be your light sea foam, your antique gold, and your cornflower for £14.99, making 6 pairs of earrings. Not 6 earrings, 6 pairs. And they're your contents there of everything that you need. There's going to be plenty in your kit. Your chain isn't going to be measured out for you. It's going to be measured enough that you can do this design, but you are going to have to cut and piece your chain together, which means you can customise that. If you don't want them to be as long and dangly, you don't have to. You can also use less of the bead drops. If you want to do that, you can make them smaller. You could do whatever you want. You can change these up, but this is the design that I've put together there for you. So that's the gold little bundle for £14.99, and of course your silver, exactly the same. You've got your pewter, your black, and your light purple in the silver colourway. all of your eye pins, ball pins, ear wires, chain, Stardust beads of 4mm, and your glass pearl rounds in those colours too. And they are £14.99. So that's the admin out the way. Have a little look at the website, see what you think, see which colour you like, and hopefully I'll be able to take you back down on the mat and we can get making now together. Good morning to Carol. Let me have a little scroll back up. I've missed quite a few comments. So I have got Judith in. RDS says it's 2 a.m. in California. She stayed up, or they stayed up specially to see me. Thank you so much. That's lovely of you. Well, good evening or very early morning to you. Anastasia is sending me peace and love from the USA. She says it's 9 minutes past 5. Well, it was when she wrote it. It was probably about 5 minutes ago now. It's rained all over the weekend and now it's cold and windy. Camille is saying, RDS, good effort on staying up so late. Good morning to Trish. Good morning to Robin. Robin says, greetings all and good morning, Lady Natalie. Thought I switched over to YouTube a while ago. I didn't see where Facebook is now changing their live application. I don't believe they're going to be allowing Facebook. Yeah, I don't know why. The platform that we stream off, I've been notified. And that there is changes as of today, but it wasn't changes as of today, was it? Because it's been playing up for, I would say, well, a good week or two now. So we will do our best to amend that. If you are a Facebook user and you don't have access to YouTube, then if you go on my profile on Facebook, which is Natalie Pattern Wire Artist, my name's spelled there, you'll see I share all of my tutorials on there, so you can access it through Facebook. We also share them on the Facebook Totally Beads page, and we've also got our Totally Beads Handmade Facebook page as well, where we share all our lives there, and it's a really lovely place to get to know each other and ask any questions or get some advice on anything that you're making. Yeah, Robin says she's not sure why they're changing it, but here in the States where I watch other lives, they're all a buzz about the change. Not helpful. I don't know what they're playing at, but you know, I'm not. It's out of my hands. Mary says, good morning, Natalie. I had a fabulous few days up in Liverpool, my old hometown, last week when I went to see Andre Roux at the arena. I've probably butchered Andre's name there, haven't I? I hope you had a lovely, lovely time, and I hope Liverpool was very welcoming for you. I apologise about the weather, but the city's gorgeous at any time of year. So I'm happy you enjoyed, and hopefully we hosted you well, Mary, and you got to catch up with your family and all your old haunts. Good morning to Yolanda, who's saying happy Monday. It's Monday again already, isn't it? Good morning to Mina. And Camille saying hello to Mina. So that's hellos to everybody who's here. Let me show you what we've got down on our mat so you can see the colours. Hopefully my camera doesn't start messing about either. So you can see I've got lovely, lovely earrings here for you. This is the pewter, so they're kind of like a lovely silver colour. I've got this gorgeous antique gold on the gold. I have the black. I've got these gorgeous cornflower blue ones, which I love a bit of blue. I've got these gorgeous, I think these are seafoam green. And then we've got these lovely kind of light purpley lilac ones on the silver as well. Now, I want to draw your attention to these lovely little Stardust beads. They are 4mm in size, and as I say, it looks like they've just been dipped in a whole lot of glittery dust. They're really, really lovely. I don't think my camera's doing them justice. Really straightforward make, and you've got some lovely fine oval chain in there as well, which make it really easy to make that kind of chandelier type drop, and also gives it a whole lot of movement. So not only do they make a lovely noise, Marjorie says good morning from Liverpool. Hello to you. Yeah, they make a lovely, lovely noise, but they also have a lovely movement to them as well. Now, of course, as I always say, jewellery looks better when worn because that's what its purpose is. So I'm trying to show you them by laying them flat against my hand or down on the mat. But they look so much more lovely when they are in. And I will model one for you later so you can see in terms of length and size. Now, these are measuring, if we go from the just bottom of the ear wire, they are quite long and dangly. They are coming at about, at the furthest point, about 5.5 centimetres. And in inches, that would be about 2.25 inches. You can change this up really easily by just making your drops smaller, which means you're going to have beads left over. So if you wanted to, you could just do 3 little drops, and you could put your Stardust in the middle. You could make your chain length smaller. There's lots of different ways that you can personalize them to your taste. So let's get making. I'm going to start off with this one, and then if we've got time, I'll probably do a gold coloured version for you as well. But they all work exactly the same. Oh, thank you, Pauline. She says they look great. So how I'm going to start, I'm probably going to make my little drops at the bottom first. So I'm going to get in my kit. I've got ball pins and I've got eye pins. So for those of you that aren't sure which is what, the ball pin has got the lovely little ball at the end, and I think it gives it a really pretty finish. They are my kind of favourite to use, and the ones in your kit are a nice gauge, so you could do a wrapped loop with this. I will show you how to do a wrapped loop. If you're doing wrapped loops though, you must attach your chain on first, because obviously once you've wrapped that loop, it's fully secure and not available to be opened again. If you're not, you can just do a little turned loop, which I'll do at the end, and that's what's going to dangle off the bottom of the chain. Now, your eye pin is shaped like an eye, like a letter I, like a little lollipop, and that is really great to do a double-ended connector, so you can connect things on each side. Thank you, Jan. So they are what I'm using. I'm going to start off with the ball pins, and I'm going to get my lovely 4mm beads out. So for the design that I've done here, I'm going to add one on the bottom first. Then I'm going to have my gorgeous little silvery or gold, depending on which colourway you've got, Stardust bead. Just honestly, the noise that they make is just so cute. They're really twinkly. So I'm going to add one of those on. So they're just threading on nice and easy. And then I'm going to take another 3 of my pearls, and I'm going to add that onto the top. And for this design, I have used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. So if you want to get yourself a little production line going in terms of you putting these all together at once, you can do. But of course, that's 5 on each earring, and for a pair of earrings, you need to just repeat this process again. So you're going to want to make 5 of your little ball pins, and they've all got exactly the same amount of pearls and Stardust spaces on them, and they're all going on in the same order. So it's a nice, easy make. Where have my ball pins gone? There they are. So it's something nice that, you know, doesn't need an awful lot of concentration. You can do this while you're maybe watching the TV, or maybe on the train going somewhere, or passaging in a car. I wouldn't do it while you're driving. I was speaking to somebody yesterday who makes the most beautiful things. Again, only recently started, and while her partner is driving about, she sits in the car and she makes. And I just think, you know, to be able to make on the go, if you've got your little beading tray, which we were chatting about last live, then always handy to put your little things in there while you're going. So nice, easy make. I'm just going to be threading on my pearls and my spacers onto the ball pins, and I'm going to make 5 of those components up for one earring. And I do tend to find that I do things in a particular order, but you can start and do whatever you want to do are just fine. For me, visually, I kind of know where I'm at and what I'm doing, and I do it bit by bit. So I'm just threading on 3 of the beads on top of the little spacer, so 3 of those little 4mm pearls. And then I'm going to turn my loops on the top of these. I will do one as well where I'll show you how to do a wrapped loop. But again, you have to add your chain first. So you can use, in terms of tools, a pair of chain nose pliers, some wire cutters, and some round nose. And that's pretty much all you need. If you want to, I'll show you how to use the looper tool as well. If you've got one of these, you can end up with exactly the same size loops, but you can do that with your round nose. And I do tend to find, even if I use the looper, I tend to use the round nose just to tighten up that loop anyway. So have we got a good shot there, can we see? When I turn my loop, the way I do it is I take my chain nose pliers right at the top of the last bead, and I'm going to turn it into a horizontal 90-degree angle, so it's close up to that bead. I don't really want much space between the bead and the bend because I want my loop to sit neatly and closely on top. If I'm doing a wrap loop, I leave a little space because I want that space to be filled in when I wrap those loops. Once I've bent my pin, I'm going to cut with my flush cutters, leaving about 1 centimetre. I'm going to hold on to the end of the pin so when I cut it doesn't fly away. And then with my round nose pliers, I'm going to choose whereabout I want to turn my loop. I like to have small loops on this earring design. So I'm going to hold my pin right up against towards the very tip of the pliers. Now your round nose pliers are tapered, so the closer we go to the handle, the wider those loops will become. I'm just going to keep my thumb on top of the bead so it doesn't move, and just very gently, I'm going to rub my finger over the back of the round nose pliers to make sure my pin isn't sticking out. If it's sticking out before I turn it, we're going to have a little bit which is straight and it isn't going to fully turn. So I'm keeping it nice, flat and flush, holding it in place. I give a little bit of a twist just to get that kind of hook shape going. Then I reposition my hand so I'm not putting lots of strain and pressure on my wrist. And I'm just going to do tiny little motions all the way around until I've closed that loop. Now, by bending it first and cutting it, it always never goes quite straight if I am stopping in between to show you that first little curl. But that will make my loop fit nice and neat at the top of my pin. And I'm just going to keep repeating that. Now, what I would say, if you do want exactly the same uniform size loops, you can make a little mark on your round nose pliers where you turn that loop, or you can just eyeball it and see I knew I was maybe like 1 millimetre up from the end. So bending into a 90-degree angle, cutting myself about 1 centimetre, that's going to give me the right size loop for these. I'm holding it back in between my pliers with my round nose, checking it's nice and flush, holding it in position, giving a little flick, and all the way around, turn it nice and gently, all the way around. And if I do find that it's not quite straight, then all I need to do is just knock it back into place and then make sure it's closed up. So that was a little bit bigger than the last one. It doesn't matter too much, but you will find that the more that you do these, the neater you get and the more uniform they become. I find when I'm doing it without really thinking about it too much, they go better. If I'm slowing down the process to explain it, it always ends up just like a little bit wonky, and I don't quite know why. But the more you do, the neater those little loops will become. And I want to make sure that I've turned that all the way, so I'm going to be able to open and close this up when I need to, but for now it's fully closed, and when I pop my chain in, my chain's not going to fall out. If you want to use your looper, then string on your beads as normal. Take your looper, and what I want to do is I want to put the end of the pin all the way through, so you can see it's going to go underneath that little bump at the top there, and there's a little hole at the back which you can't really see on camera, but you should be able to when I put the pin through it. By putting my pin in the back, it's going to make sure that it cuts my wire in the right place. So I'm holding that bead up close to this part here, which I'm just touching with my thumb there, and that's where it's going to create the bend and the loop. If you're using a gemstone chip or a crystal or something which you have to be a bit delicate with, be ever so careful, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give it a little bend, just ever so slightly, just like we did before, but it's not going to be fully 90 degrees. Because when I close this, and all I need to do is just push the handles together, you'll see it's cut off that pin now, and it's starting to turn that loop. And then I can straighten it up. The reason I tend to bend it away is so I'm not putting too much pressure when these close on that last bead, because you can chip it. So that's now created that loop for me. They are a perfect little tool if you're doing lots and lots and lots and lots of loops, or if indeed you have like dexterity problems and your wrists get sore. These are a really good little nifty tool to have. But what I always find is, although my loops will always be the same uniform size, they never fully quite close for me, even if I kind of wiggle them up and down. And you often have a little bit more of a space between that last bead. If I need to straighten up again, I'm just going to knock back the, sorry, let me get focus on that. I'm just going to pop in my round nose again and tighten it up. So I personally prefer to do them by hand, but it doesn't, I think I get them more uniform when I do it by hand. So to do it by hand, I would literally give it a little bend, 90 degrees, nice and close. Chop off, leave it about 1 centimetre. I've also got more control of where that little bit pin fires off to. Making sure it's nice and flush, give it a little twist, reposition my wrist and turn. If you want to do a wrap loop, and I will show you that quickly. Let me get my pins out. So what you would do is you would create your little dangle as usual, threading on the same amount of beads. And I'm going to create a wrap loop this time, which is always good if you want something really, really secure. I'm going to take my round nose pliers, and you can use your veil step making pliers as well with this if you want to. I'm going to bend, so I'm going to position my round nose right up close to that pearl, and I'm going to create that bend in it. So it's still 90 degrees, but you can see I've got a little, excuse me, I've got a little bit of space now between that bead and that bend, and that's what I'm after. I'm going to reposition my pliers, so my pliers are above and below that bend now, and I'm going to, with my fingers or with my tools, just bring that all the way round, reposition my pliers again. I tend to swap hands so I can use my more dominant hand, and with a pair of my pliers, so my chain nose, I'm going to turn that all the way around. So if I take it out, it's going to look like a little scarf. At this point, I'm going to thread on my chain. So I would have cut my chain lengths in advance. I'm going to slide on my chain so it's hidden inside of there, because obviously, unless I'm going to attach it with a jump ring, once I wrap this round, it's going to be fully closed. So add your chain on at that stage. Then what I like to do is I like to hold across with a pair of pliers, can be my round nose or it could be my chain nose, and I'm just going to put a little bit of, I'm going to swap hands, I'm going to just put a little bit of gentle pressure over that loop, and that's going to keep my pin in place. I'm then going to take my pliers, you can use your fingers as well if you prefer, and I'm going to lift it slightly up. So it's making sure that this tail end is coming up towards the loop, because when I bring it round in a little half turn and I bring it all the way around again, that's going to keep that first loop close and neat to the top of the loop that I've just turned. And each time I do that half turn, taking the tail end of the wire back around and all the way, that other wire is going to sit neatly underneath. And if I've got this first one straight, then all of the wraps underneath are going to fit nicely underneath there. So I would hold it and just turn it, and I would do it until I've filled the space between the loop and the bead. I've kind of dishevelled that loop a little bit. It's not quite looking as round as it should, but there you go. I'm then going to come in and I'm going to chop off closely the little tail end of the wire if you've got any tail end. And then with my pliers, I'm going to make sure that I tuck that tail end down by just giving it a little gentle press. So that would be how to do a wrap loop. But for this design, I am just doing turned loops, so just the way I've showed you. So I'm going to do one more because I want these to be nice and neat. And I use the bail step pliers and I don't quite like it. So let me get another pin out. Sorry for rustling in my bag. I did have them already, but then I've showed you little extras. And I think sometimes it's good to just go back to basics. I know there's a lot of people here who are very experienced jewellery makers, and turning a pin or doing a wrap loop might be something that you feel you've done a billion times before and have perfected that. But given the amount of people yesterday who were new to it, or even one lovely person said, by watching you, I now know how to turn my loops properly. It was something I never quite got before then. I do think sometimes it's good to just go back to basics and recover some of those, because something like turning a loop or making a wrap loop can be, a very fundamental part of jewellery making. There's so many different designs and things that you can do and make once you've got that down. So last time I'll show you, I'm just going to give it a little flick. So you can see my knuckles on this hand are facing away from me. And I'm just, as if like I was revving a motorbike. I don't know why I use that analogy, because I don't ride a motorbike. Keep turning it all the way around. And again, because I stopped and started, it's a little bit off kilter. So I'm just going to reposition. And there you go. So I've got 5 of my pins. Now I'm going to make my chain on my earrings. So what I would like is I'm going to count my links in my chain. So for this section here that goes up towards the ear wire, I'm going to use 19 links. Now the kit has all been measured out for you, so you've got what I class as the perfect size chain to use this design. You can measure it with a ruler, but what I want you to do is I want you to make sure, if you are doing something like this where you've got that chain to dangle down directly from the ear wire, you want to have an odd number of links. So I'm using 19, so I've got 9 on one side, the 10th one's going to be going through the ear wire itself, and then I've got 9 on the other side, and that's going to make my earrings sit nice and evenly, but also when I come to make the next one here, it's going to be a perfect match. So I'm going to take my chain that I have cut. This chain you can open up. It's got like little links in it, like you would a jump ring. So what you could do is you could count how many sections you want. So say I'm going to do 5. And I'd count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'd count my 5th link and I can open up the 5th link, or if I want to be really kind of making sure that's fully closed, I can go up one and open it up on the 6th link. So the link behind the one I'm not after. And then just with, again, it's difficult for me to do this under the camera, you'll see there's a tiny little opening and I can just give it a little twist and then slide that off. Now, what you can do is you can then close it over fully like a proper jump ring. So sorry, can't get that in shot. Or if you don't want to be really particular thinking, oh, I won't close it properly enough, then just count one above. So I've got my 5 links, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 6th one I can take off. So I've got that little section of chain. So I'm going to take my one that's going to go on the earring hook, and I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 10th one here, that 10th link, which should be right in the middle, I'm going to attach onto my ear wire. I want to count that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to take that middle link and I'm going to hook that directly onto my ear wire. The chain in your kit will make sure that it all fits on, so you don't need a jump ring. And then just going to dangle it against my finger and check. And I've done that deliberately wrong because I want those to be lined up. So if I find, no, I'm a link off center, then I can open it up, slide it off, just make sure that little ball is out the way. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And slide it back on. I think I'm going to have it on the wrong one again there. Nope, perfect. So I want that to be on the 10th link in this design. So I've got 9 links of chain evenly dangling down, and they're going to sit nice and evenly. Now I'm going to get my eye pin out of my kit, and I'm going to slide on the sections of chain and the pearls to make this middle bit. So for my outer lengths, this one and this one, I'm going to keep it symmetrical, if that makes sense. So these will dangle into kind of like a tapered kind of shape. I'm going to use 5 links of my chain. So I've got 5, then 7 links of the chain. The middle one, I've done 8 links of the chain, so it's ever so slightly longer. Then I'm doing 7 again, so it matches this one, these two match, and then I'm finishing off with a 5. So I'm going to add my chain on first when I've cut them, and I'm going to make sure I'm going through the last link in the chain. So the first one I'm putting on has got 5 links on. I'm then going to add on one of my pearls. So I'm adding my chain on first. You could add your pearl on if you prefer, but for this design I've gone 5 links of chain and my glass pearl. Then I'm adding on 7 links of my chain and my pearl. The center is going to have 8 links on. And it really doesn't matter if you're going to change the size up of this, you can do. Just make sure it's the same on both earrings, and then they will be even. Then I'm going to add on another of my pearls, another length of chain with 7 links on. So the second one and the 4th one are matching. Then I'm going to add another pearl. Now you could add a Stardust bead onto it as well if you wanted. And then I'm going to finish with another length of chain at 5 links in length. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at which direction that pin's going. So you can see the opening of the loop here is facing down, and that's what I want at the moment. So I'm going to slide everything up so that piece of chain is just sitting right next to that loop, and I'm going to hold it with my fingers. I'm going to make sure that the loop is facing down. This isn't essential, but this is what I find easiest to do. And then once everything is kind of gathered up nicely together and there's no major gaps and movement in there, I'm going to come in with my pliers and I'm going to bend that pin right up. Now we've got 50mm eye pins in your kit, so there's plenty of length on that. If you've got the 30mm, which is often a size that's, you might have in your stash, you might find it a little bit tricky in terms of, having enough length there. So now my pin is sticking up. I'm going to give it a little flip, and I'm going to do exactly what I was doing before with the ball pins to turn that into a loop. So I'm going to come in with my cutters. I'm going to cut about 1 centimetre. So there's 1 centimetre between my cutters and my my last piece of chain. And I'm going to trim off. And then I'm going to hold that chain down along the beads and keep my thumb over it so nothing's sliding up in place. Take my round nose pliers, making sure it's nice and flush, and I'm going to start to turn. And I'm going to make sure that it is straight. And what I've done by positioning my pins, my eye pin like that, is you'll see now that my loops are facing the same way. So if I hold it up this way now, the openings of my pin are going to be facing upwards and they're going to be in the same direction. Now I'm going to add on this part of my chain and then my little dangles. So if you'd been doing your wrap loop like these, I'm not going to be able, or without opening the links on the chain, I wouldn't be able to attach them on. I'd have to open the link of the chain, or I'd have to add a jump ring in, unless I ensured before I wrapped it round that I attached my chain to that loop beforehand. If you've done your little turned loops, you're just going to be able to open up the loop at the top of your pin and you can slide them on. So we'll attach the chain on at the top first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pin, and where it opens, I'm going to give it a little flick up. And what I want to do is when I slide one side of this chain length attached to my earring hook, I want to keep that inside the loop, and then I want to close the loop back over, making sure I've closed it fully, but also that the chain that is dangling down that we're going to attach our little beads onto isn't inside that loop as well. So the chain will sit underneath between the loop and the bead, and then again the same on the other side. So you might find it's easier to do this in a different kind of order. I'm just going to slide the earring hook out of the chain because that's not what's meant to happen. But for me, I've done it this way, and I find this works, but it's entirely up to you if you want to do it slightly different. So I'm just going to turn very gently to lift that little loop up. I'm going to take the end of the chain, it has to be the last chain link, and I'm going to slide the last chain link through the loop and then fully close it over. And if I don't feel like it's fully closed, I can come in with my round nose again just to tighten it up. And then I've got my earring attached to my first little part. And now all I need to do is, again, gently, just as if I was opening a jump ring, slight little lift only by like a tiny millimetre, and I'm just going to be able to thread each of them on. And what's lovely is you're going to have, it's going to be the same either way, so you don't have to, think about, well, which way round am I putting this on? Will the ear wire be the right way? As long as you've got that chain then attached, you just flip it over, it's going to be the same on each side. So I'm going to lift up each one of my little hooks. You can pick up the chain and slide it through if it's easier with a pair of pliers. You can lie it flat on the desk, and you can put these on in any order. Some people like to work from the middle out with a design like this. I tend to go from one side and just work along. So I'm just making sure that I'm just capturing the last link of the chain, opening up my next one, sliding it through, closing it down, and the same again on the last one, lifting it up, adding it on, and closing it down. Now, you can keep it like this and it's ready to go, and I think it looks lovely. But what I like to do is add a tiny little bit of a curve to this. And the easiest way to do that is very gently. I'm just going to put my finger on the middle of those two pearls, and I'm just going to put a tiny bit of pressure. So I'm bringing those ends up slightly in a very gentle curve. And then my earring is ready to go. All I would need to do is make another one. I can accentuate that curve even more so if I want to. But by repeating this process, you've got two perfectly matching earrings. I will put them in so you can see how they hang and how they look. And I will just have a little scroll back up and see if there's been any questions. If you've got any questions, if you pop a Q in front of your comment, if you're in the live chat, I'll be able to identify it really easily. If you've got a tip, pop a T in front and I can see it that way. If you're watching on the playback, just pop a comment in and I'll always go back and try and see what I've missed. Jan says they're very pretty. Camille says doing anything in the car, not driving, obviously gives me headaches. Rachel says she couldn't do anything like making in the car. She feels sick. Yeah, it's an easy way to get travel sick. Mina's okay, she says. Camille's hoping she's feeling better soon. Anastasia says peace and love to all the queens in the chat, and she's shouting out a load of people, which is lovely. Rachel said my sister visited yesterday from Leeds. I often get fridge magnets from places she's visited, this time Rome and Lithuania. How lovely. Rachel Paget is saying Rachel Bailey is saying good morning to Anastasia. Yolanda's saying hopes everyone's having a nice week. Lois A. Becker is watching from Connecticut in the USA. 5 in the morning. I'll stop being so shouty and high-pitched because that's going to wake everyone up. Camille says maybe I was a biker chick in my previous life. No, I don't think I was. Bicycle, maybe. I'd like to be. It's just, yeah, no, it's not me. Jan is saying hello to you all. Robin is saying she can hear Camille counting along the chain links with me. Jan says gorgeous make Nat, and Rachel says lovely. Thank you so much. So here are the earrings when worn. These are the light purpley ones. So I do love a dangle. I really do. As I say, you can accentuate that curve as much as you want. You can make them shorter, longer. Do whatever you want with them in your kit, and there's 3 colours to choose from in each colourway. I'll take you back on the website. It's probably easier than me trying to explain it. These are the Pamela Pearl earrings today, and they are £6.99 for 2 pairs of earrings in the antique gold on the gold, the black on the silver, the cornflower blue on the gold, the light purple, which I've just made and I'm modelling for you now, in the silver colourway, and the light sea foam, which is like a gorgeous kind of greeny colour. I was going to make them today, but we're not going to have time. And it works exactly the same. They're on the gold as well. So £6.99 for 2 pairs of earrings in whatever colourway. Oh, and don't forget the pewter. Or you can buy the little bundle. So that's 6 pairs of earrings in each colourway. So you'll get all of the gold colour options or all of the silver options for £14.99, and they've been discounted from £20.97. So I think that's a really good purchase. Again, you can change up the design in this. We do ship worldwide. We are based, Totally Beads is based in the warehouse in Clacton. in the UK, but we ship worldwide. So if you want to change your currency, you can do there. And that is that, to be honest. So thank you so much. Joanne says lovely earrings. Linda says love these earrings. They're very pretty. Camille says they're lovely. So they seem to be very popular. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for being with me on. I don't know what to do about the Facebook situation, but for those of you who found me here, then thank you. And for those who watch me later, hiya. What are we doing on Friday? Oh, I've got that many things planned. I'm not too sure. Could be a bracelet, could be a pendant. Who knows? Tune in Friday to find out. I hope you all have a really, really, really lovely week, and I'll see you then soon, everybody. Take care.